Action News Live at 5 begins with some breaking news involving a shooting in the southwest part of the valley. Good evening. I'm Steve Wolford.
And I'm Tricia Kean. This shooting happened about an hour ago near Clark High School. That's at Penwood and Arville. That's about all we know right now about this shooting. Action News anchor Ricky Cheese is live on the scene. We're trying to get a live shot for you and have more details, so stay tuned to this newscast. Now to a developing story out of California tonight, where suspected cop killer Christopher Dorner remains on the loose, possibly hiding out somewhere in the mountain town of Big Bear. Police say Dorner went on a murderous rampage yesterday after releasing an online manifesto detailing why he was targeting LAPD officers. Dorner is suspected of killing a former LAPD captain's daughter, her fiancé, and a Riverside police officer. His burned-out truck was found smoldering in Big Bear yesterday afternoon, but Big Bear residents say they aren't worried.
No, there's no panic. We're very hardy residents here in the San Bernardino Mountains. Many of the people here are armed. My fear has actually been not that panic would ensue, but more that someone up here would see something and take the law into their own hands.
The hunt for Dorner is now on foot. Officers followed some tracks leading from the vehicle, but the trail abruptly ended.
Metro is seriously considering the possibility that Christopher Dorner is in southern Nevada, or at least working his way in this direction. That's why they held a news conference today to explain what's being done if he shows up here. Action News reporter Spencer Lubitz is in the newsroom with more on that tonight. Spencer.
Steve, there's good reason for that. That's because Christopher Dorner has a home and friends here in the valley. And although Metro says they haven't seen Dorner here yet, they aren't discounting the possibility that he is already in the area or maybe on his way here. And because of the threat that poses to our community and our local officers, Metro is making some changes. At today's conference, officers said after searching Dorner's house yesterday, it appeared as though no one had been there for weeks. They also told us the department is working with other federal agencies to follow up on local leads, including being in contact with the Las Vegas residents named in Dorner's manifesto.
Several people were named in the manifesto as friends. We want to know who those friends are that may live in Las Vegas. So that's what we're doing. We're trying to find those people, talk to them, and see what information that can be gleaned that would be very beneficial to this investigation and the quick apprehension of Mr. Dorner.
One major change that was announced today is that Metro officers are now traveling in two-person teams and will be doing so indefinitely. Reporting live in the newsroom, Spencer Lubitz, Channel 13. Action News.
Spencer, thank you. And as you just mentioned, Dorner's ties to Las Vegas include a home which was raided earlier this week by FBI agents. Our team coverage continues right now with Action News reporter Victoria Spilabati. She's live with more on Dorner's local connections and what agents are revealing about that search. Victoria.
Well, Tricia, one local acquaintance tells me that Dorner owns his own arsenal of guns and ammo, although the FBI didn't find any weapons in this home. In fact, neighbors tell me it's been weeks since they've seen Dorner here. They're still wary about this whole situation. Boards cover up the door and windows of the Southwest Las Vegas home where Christopher Dorner lived quietly.
You thought something was off about him.
Yeah, I couldn't figure it out because he wouldn't ever open up.
Lexi Gibson is one of the few neighbors who knew Dorner. Others are just too afraid to talk, posting signs on their front doors saying no comment.
Did he talk about why he was in Las Vegas, why he lived here?
Nope, he didn't tell me anything. He just said that he worked over on the Navy base and he was an attorney, and that was it.
Looking for more clues, the FBI raided Dorner's Las Vegas home. No weapons were found, just lots of empty boxes. And neighbors say Dorner may have moved out. Neighbors say the last time they saw Dorner's truck parked here in his driveway was about 3 weeks ago, and that's when he told them he was headed back to California. Neighbors say Dorner never revealed much about his personal life, except to say he had a short marriage and rocky relationship with an ex-girlfriend.
He did tell me that he was dating this Asian lady one time, and that she got super crazy and she had to get a restraining order against her, but that's all that I know.
That restraining order, Dorner filed in Clark County Family Court last year. It says the ex-girlfriend called his cell phone more than 150 times in a few hours.
The number you dialed is not a working number.
And when Gibson tried his cell phone today, it was disconnected.
And so I texted him and I was just like, hey, where have you been? I haven't seen you lately. And then no response.
Neighbors describe Dorner as hot and cold. Some say he was nice, others say he had a temper. This is a copy of that restraining order filed locally, but there are other reports of another girlfriend who says that Dorner was unstable, so it seems like those who knew him best knew many different sides to this man. Reporting live from Fort Apache and Blue Diamond, Victoria Spilabati, Channel 13 Action News.
Thank you, Victoria. The Irvine Police Department has set up a tip line for anyone who might have information on Dorner. That number is 949-724-7192. Again, 949-724-7192. We'll have much more on the search for Christopher Dorner coming up at 6. You can also get updates anytime on our Facebook or Twitter pages, along with KTNV.com and the free KTNV mobile app.
Well, as snow falls on the East Coast tonight, the West Coast is bracing for our own chill.
And along with a big cool down, we are also getting blown around by some high winds. Let's go to Chief Meteorologist Brian Schofield with a look at our local forecast. Hey, Brian.
I like that live view, Steve. That's nice. Very nice live shot there. All right, taking a look at the stratosphere there. Really some cold temperatures and some strong wind. And of course, you might have been lucky enough to get a shower in your area. Certainly, it's all surrounding the valley and in the local mountains, plenty of snow. But 43-mile-per-hour gusts, making it feel much colder than the actual air temperature. But we're talking about temperatures staying in the 40s through tomorrow, keeping the wind as well. Probably ending off the morning with maybe just a few more showers before it clears out. I'll show you what kind of warm-up we have in store coming up in Weather First.
As many as 40 million people back east are in the path of a nasty storm tonight that could end up in the history books. Here's a live picture right now at what some of the people there are dealing with. This is Aubrey, our producer. What are we looking at here? Is this out of New York City? Okay, well, it's one of the shots there. Anyway, the point is it's getting dark and a lot of snow is starting to fall there. And we'll go to some dayside video now recorded earlier out of Alexandria Bay, New York. This is where the snow was already knee-deep by noon. Alexandria Bay is near the Canadian border, and this part of the state took a big hit as that storm came through. Some video now out of the Boston area. This is Revere, Massachusetts. People across that state were being told earlier to stay off the streets ahead of as much as 2 feet of snow. Transportation officials have already dispatched dozens of snow plows to try to get a jump start on keeping those roads clear. But you can see that's once it starts to get colder too, that heavy snow gets powdery, and that's when you get the blizzard conditions, because when those winds come through too, that powder blows, visibility goes to about 0.
That's what it looked like there. Well, some flights into McCarran from the East Coast are canceled tonight, and we've even had our own weather issues, of course, with the high winds today. Let's
go to Action News reporter Jessica Janner live at McCarran International Airport with more on what's happening there. And I guess, Jessica, because of the weather back east too, you're probably seeing a lot of cancellations on the board.
That's exactly right. We may be on the opposite coast, but it's certainly affecting us here. We have seen a handful of cancellations affecting cities like New York City and Boston. We've also seen some major delays for cities like Philadelphia, and it's caused some major problems for some travelers. Take a look.
Upset, frustrated, and we can't get nothing out.
Frustrated travelers stuck at McCarran Airport. These two couples are trying to get to Canada by Monday. And looks like even if they can make it across the U.S., the massive snowstorm affecting New England is going to make it nearly impossible.
It's booked on anything from Newark to St. John's.
So you maybe get to Newark, but then you don't even have a way to get to Canada?
No.
We're here now 4 hours, getting passed back and forth on telephones. We've got 2 lines hung up there, and we can get nobody to give us any satisfaction whatsoever.
Some flights were going through. We saw a Southwest flight even this afternoon making it to Newark, but airlines like Virgin Atlantic and JetBlue did cancel their flights to New York. Also United, which is the airline these Canadians are dealing with, telling Action News these added days of travel are going to cost them extra hotel rooms and missed days of work. And things will likely only worsen as the storm dumps more snow across states like New York, Rhode Island, and Massachusetts.
It's safe to say that there's going to be additional cancellations throughout the weekend. What's really important as well is if you're flying somewhere besides the East Coast, is to really pay attention to your flight status, because there's a ripple effect.
And those folks telling me that they think they're only going to get a flight out of here next Tuesday or Wednesday. The #1 advice for travelers this weekend from McCarran officials is to check your flight status before coming here to the airport. Reporting live from McCarran, Jessica Janner, Channel 13 Action News.
Jessica, thank you. And Las Vegas is once again the place to be to ring in the Chinese New Year. The Bellagio has already transformed their conservatory to welcome in the Year of the Snake. And this weekend, the second annual Chinese New Year in the Desert Festival will take place downtown. There will be traditional dragon dances, special shows on the Viva Vision screen, and young ladies will be competing in the Miss Asian American Pacific Islander pageant.
Las Vegas is a destination, and we know how to put on a good show for Chinese New Year.
And for a complete list of activities in our valley, just go to our website to check it out, ktnv.com. Should be a great weekend. Well, if her stint on X Factor wasn't enough for you, then get excited now. Caesars Entertainment tells us they are in discussions with Britney Spears to perform right here in Las Vegas. Earlier this week, her manager, Larry Rudolph, told Extra TV the show is set with a choice between 2 casinos. Today, Caesars confirmed they're talking to Britney's people about headlining residency at Planet Hollywood Resort and Casino.
Still ahead, a local family is coming together after a shooting that left a young man fighting for his life.
Him and I have always fought together, and we're going to continue to fight together.
We'll explain what happened near a local movie theater to a teenager whose family says was on the right track in life.
Plus, her obscene gesture got her in hot water. Find out the surprising move one woman is now making after flipping off a judge. And it's cold and windy out there with a lot of dark clouds. Will this change of weather last throughout our weekend? Brian Schofield has the full forecast coming up.
In tonight's headlines on Action News, the Northeast is bracing for a nasty winter storm that could be one for the record books. As many as 40 million people from the Canadian border to Pennsylvania are bracing for high winds and as much as 3 feet of snow in some areas by daybreak. After riding out Hurricane Sandy, many people not taking chances. They've emptied store shelves. Snow plows are now out in force. And not even a former president is safe from computer hackers. Somebody hacked into the computer of George H.W. Bush, exposing personal photos, phone numbers, and security codes. The Secret Service is looking into how it happened and tracking down whoever did it.
A family is working to deal with the harsh reality tonight that their son may never walk again after being shot several times 2 nights ago. Action News reporter Marco Villarreal is back from talking with that family and has the details of what happened that night. Marco.
Tricia, this is a family who has grown up here in Las Vegas and say they never thought they'd go through this process of having to teach their son how to live a different kind of life now.
He's alive, and that's tremendously important to all of us, our family.
The Millers are hardly getting any sleep this week, visiting their son and nephew, Jeremy, at the hospital.
At this point, he's got multiple gunshot wounds. The major one to discuss is a puncture in his lung. The other major one has exploded his 6 and 7 disc. I'm told that he won't walk again.
Family says his friend, also shot, is awake and shedding light on what happened the night they left the Hard Rock Cafe when they saw a former classmate from high school.
Troy said that he recognized that Dante was with another gentleman, and Troy's identified that person as the shooter.
Heading to the movies, the teens and their girlfriends got a violent surprise as their elevator from the parking garage opened.
There was multiple shots fired. It was a 9mm, I'm told. And basically, based on how many wounds he has, the clip was emptied.
Police say they found Jeremy on the 5th floor. Family is baffled as to why their son was targeted. They call him a good kid who started taking care of his younger siblings at age 11 when their mother died.
It's hard for an 8-year-old to pick up and say, I want my own place, I want my own job, and I'm gonna work to get it, you know.
As police investigate this crime, the family is focused on what Jeremy will need for the future.
Regardless of what doctors say, he will walk again, you know. He will take those steps, and he will live a normal life.
Him and I have always fought together, and we're going to continue to fight together.
Now, police are still looking for the shooter and ask if you have any information to call Crime Stoppers. That phone number is 385-5555. As for Jeremy, he still has a long road to recovery, and his family has put together a fund to help pay for the expensive surgeries that he will most likely need here in the future. All that information is on our website, KTNV.com. Just click on this story. Live in the studio, Marco Villarreal, Channel 13, Action News.